Thank you, President. May I first start out by thanking all of the members who've contributed to the debate this afternoon for their very thoughtful and frank contributions. I'd also like to thank all of the many organisations and individuals who participated in the inquiry process and who appeared before the committee. I think it was for all of us a big learning curve. It was a great experience, and I think the quality of the recommendations that have come from that reflect that richness of thought. Dr. Heath and Mr. Batchelor both talked about the difficulties associated with impairment testing, and I think, clearly that is an issue. It is for that reason that one of the findings of the inquiry is that workplace drug testing should only occur where there is a well-founded concern that a worker is impaired. In other words, it's not a simple random act, it's not a coercive act, it's one that takes into account concepts of due process, natural justice, and is premised upon the observation of impairment. That is a fairly simple test to make, and it is only reasonable that workers not live in fear on a daily basis that they will be discriminated against, stigmatised, victimised, simply for taking a prescription medication. Dr. Mansfield talked about the fact that all too often current testing is often actually counterproductive. And that is, again, very often because what we're seeing are coercive or prejudicial AOD policies that assume a level of guilt, a level of ignorance or abuse by workers. And I think we really need to push back against that. And I know the government's committed to pushing back against that sort of stereotyping of people who consume alcohol and other drugs, and also that in addressing these questions, we need to have a health-based approach that reflects best practice and that reflects a harm minimisation approach to dealing with issues such as this. Mr. Glare talked about the closed-track driving trial, and I think a number of us were a bit disappointed when we went out to the closed-track driving trial to find that, in fact, what was promised in the early scoping documents for that trial included extensive testing of different impairment methodologies, and that, in fact, that was no longer the case, because this does strike to a motion that was moved by Mr. McCracken to actually learn more about this question, including the incorporation of the findings from the closed-track driving trial. Ms. Payne talked about the Equal Opportunity Act amendment, and I think it's a great example of a change that the government can do really quickly and with minimal further delay. What we saw in the inquiry was that the Victorian Equal Opportunity and Human Rights Commission came before the committee advocating for this change, and not only did they advocate most persuasively about the need for change, but they even provided drafting for amendments to the Act. So I guess this is a good example of where we say that the pursuit of perfection should not be the enemy of the good. There is more than enough on the plate here for the government to make meaningful changes, both to the Equal Opportunity Act and also to the Occupational Health and Safety Act. And we implore the government to pull its finger out, make these changes. They're needed to protect workers. It has a broad support within the Labor movement, and there was a high level of consensus within the committee. So with that, I thank the members and commend the motion to the House.
The question is motion number 975 be agreed to. All opinions say aye. Aye. Against no. I think the ayes have it. Division call for ring the bells, please. Close the doors, please. Members, we're dividing over a notice of motion 975, which is in Ms Payne's name. Can I invite members who are voting for that motion to now stand in their place? And can I indicate I'm voting for that motion? Thank you, members. You can return to your seats. Can I invite members who are voting against the motion to now stand in their place? Thank you, members. You can return to your seats. The result of the division is ayes 20, noes 13. Therefore, the motion has passed.